Hello and welcome to the Newgen webinar Turbocharge Digital Transformation in the Energy and Utilities Sector. I am Mukul Agarwal and I shall be your host for the day. I thank you all for making the time to join us today. The response has been overwhelming and we are excited to talk about the need of digital transformation in the energy and utilities industry. Today we have with us Vinit Mishra. He is Director of Technology Consulting for Power and Utilities sector at EY. We also have our co-presenter Vineet Pushkar, who is our subject matter expert for energy and utility sector at Newgen. While Vineet Mishra will take us through the digital transformation trends, Vineet Pushkar will deep dive into how Newgen can help E&E organizations achieve their digital goals. At the end of the presentation, we will conduct a Q&A session. We request you to type your questions in the question window of your GoToMeeting anytime during the webinar, and our experts will address them at the end of the session. I now pass on the baton to Vineet Mishra.
Hi, thanks, Mukul. Good morning, everyone. So it's a very pertinent topic nowadays in global world. What is digital and how digital is transforming the sectors? So be it ENU sector, be it retail sector, be it any industry sector. So digital is playing a pivotal role, and digital is not only enabler in terms of increasing top line or bottom line, but digital is also very important in terms of better customer experience, better efficiency in terms of operational part, or we are doing project implementation. So all those key functions of any organization. So that's why I usually say that organizations should stop doing digital. They need to start being digital. So what the meaning of stop doing digital, start being digital? So we all have been witnessed that this specific COVID environment. During COVID, most of the organizations who were not digital savvy faced the challenges in terms of reaching out to their customers, in terms of delivering output on time, or blah blah. So that's a crux which I would like to highlight. Doing digital means, if I put this question across various forums when I meet CIOs, even CXO forums. I discuss, what do you mean with the word of digital? So the first response I get, we are doing ERP, we are doing X application, so we are digital savvy organization. While my intent is different, I'm saying, why are you going in silos? So you are doing ERP, that doesn't mean you are digital enabled organization. So we need to change our mindset. We need to think that digital is essential. It is not optional aspect, or it is not one or two applications which we are using or which we are utilizing in a day. So start it from your customer, started from your business operations, your employees, your EBITDA, everything digital is putting in. So we need to understand we are not doing digital, we are being digital. Anything. If I recall, when I enter my office, so I just tap my access card. The moment I enter in my office, my digital work starts. And rather, I can come back. The moment I enter my office, and when my car is being allowed to enter in the premises, there's a barrier which automatically gets up because it read my car tag. I'm office employee. So utilizing ERP application is not digital. You need to be digital or being digital. So everywhere, any process in the organization, and I'm not talking about any organization, any organization. So first, we need to change our mindset. We are not doing digital, we are being digital. The moment you feel you are being digital, it comes from your core. Yes, we are being digital. We are changing the entire landscape of the application. So just to prove this fact, it's not my hypothesis. We have done survey in past. So I'll share the result of those survey. So 43%, and this survey, by the way, belong energy and utility space, or specifically oil and gas and power sector entities. And this survey was run with CXOs, specifically including CIOs. So 43% CXOs have a strong faith that big data analytics, I've just to uh, make it more simpler, analytics and analytics insights, these are playing very significant roles, and these are in top 3 trends across energy and utilities. So CIO and CXOs are understanding the importance of this point. And most of you have already seen the fact that analytics, be it predictive, prescriptive, any kind of analytics, is playing a very important role to get better insights, because we are getting tons of data nowadays. EN, specifically EN, which is asset intensive sector, using IoT devices, and every IoT devices are sharing n number of data sets. So all the utilities are sitting on petabytes of data. So we need to leverage that data, and CIO and CXOs are understanding the importance of that point, that big data or data analytics is going to play a very important role in future. 80% CIOs and CXOs are soliciting the fact that they need to invest in digital. It's need of our. So you can imagine 80% top level organization, top level is understanding the importance of digital. They are understanding that yes, they need to keep budget for digital. There is no other way around. If they need to survive in this competitive environment, and most of the places across the globe, we have seen this sector is regulated. Most of the places sector is regulated. So you are sitting in a very competitive environment where regulator is putting n number of constraints. You can't go beyond this limit. You need to control your control level factor loss in this within this range. So digital, again, a big tool to control the cost and to increase efficiency. 88% are already in this frame, that which I was echoing with the previous point, that digital is need. 88% on top of that are saying it is need for competitive advantage. As I was highlighting, in the regulated environment, it is very important, and even in deregulated environment. And last but not the least, irrespective organization adopted digital or not, but 92% senior level leaders, or again, to be very categorical in this space, CXOs, are saying there is no other substitute of digital. We need to go for digital. So the crux is, I'm talking about doing digital, from doing digital to being digital. While few utilities, even in this competitive era, they are relying on very, I would say, obsolete applications. So nowhere I am talking about the application here, but world is changing very fast. So I was just having a discussion around 3 years back with some industry expert, where we were discussing the product life cycle around 10 to 15 years back was tentatively 5 to 10 years. While nowadays product life cycle a year or two. Within that 1 or 2 years, product is giving back you whatever you are investing in the product, because you get the new product, competitive product in the market against that particular. So that's why organizations are understanding the importance of digital, and slowly, gradually, they are understanding that it is not only doing digital, it is being digital. So I'd like to share some glimpse of key predictions of related different applications in the market. There are 10 different applications set in my next slide. 10 different top priorities in the sector, but I will not run through all because my colleague is also taking the baton from me in the interest of the time and the cognizance that I have a limited time window. So there are top 10 digital trends which are transforming the market. So I will run through most important trends. One is robotics. We all know RPA, robotics process automation. It's increasing the efficiency of the organization. And even we have seen, gone are the days when the organization were having that kind of a myth, and even not particularly organization top level executives, but at least organization mid level or junior level executives were having their doubts in the mind that robotics would bring more unemployment. No, we have seen n number of organizations which already adopted almost 10 to 30% RPAs in their processes to increase their bottom line. Top line, yes, obviously, but the major focus on bottom line. Next important point is asset autonomous operation. I'm not going to resilience or differentiation, integration, IT, OT services, asset automation. So again, we are seeing manual intervention is out of this world nowadays significantly. Things are coming in machine to machine. We say M to M. So IoT is a technology where M to M communications is happening. There is no manual intervention, which increases the transparency and the faith in the data. Because I personally have seen in utilities how data was being created and fabricated. But nowadays, with the support of technology, IoT and all, data sacrosancy is well in place. And once you have sacrosanct data in your data lake, data warehouse, or storage, whatever we say, you can get the right insight which will enable the organization to get right system and controls in place. Digital twin, obviously, to make any kind of simulation or to run any kind of a prediction, you use digital twin. Edge cloud computing, we know nowadays cloud computing, what's the role of cloud computing. Most important, digital energy engineers formula. So I think it's in the context of today's discussion. So I'm just extending this particular point. So I was doing one project way back 2010 for World Bank, and that was again for utility sector and ENU sector. And in that particular engagement, the entity was asking their business process re-engineering part for their projects or construction processes. And it was pretty awkward to see that every time they are preparing their electrical designs, or they were reaching out from pillar to post to get the documentation which they need to put in their bid documents. And once they put that bid document, then their project plan and everything, they were creating from scratch while they were in this business for last 50 years. So the assets in terms of knowledge repository, what they have created, the processes, what they have set in past, the kind of expertise they were having in their organization, they were not able to utilize. And most importantly, I would say they were not structured. So nowadays, That's the importance. That's the beauty which digital is bringing. It's a navigator. It's playing a role of a navigator also. So there are platforms, BPM platforms, through which you can clearly be navigated. This is your repository, your engineering drawings. You can refer X, Y, Z in terms of related to your project which you are conceiving, and this is your project plan, and even you have the past learnings also. You can leverage that platform, and that platform will navigate you how you need to go in your projects since inception till commissioning. All the project processes and steps are already well defined and laid out. And the repository which you have created in the previous project, you will leverage it. It reduces the effort at least 60%. You need not to start from fresh. And if you efficiently use those tools, in my view, you can replicate, you can utilize 80% of your past. So that's the beauty of such platforms. Now, in my next slide, I will discuss how digital or these kind of platforms are impacting your three major stakeholders. So for any organization, customer, their asset, their workforce. These are three important stakeholder, or we can say components, which they want to focus. You want to keep your customer happy, satisfied. You want to make your asset life as max as you can achieve, which I told in competitive environment. You want TCO should be very high for the assets. Even the workforce should be efficiently used and should be motivated. So as I talked about the platform, with that kind of platform, you can reduce the downtime, or you can reduce the project life cycle time. So it can typically, what I have seen, if the project life cycle is 24 months, and for such similar kind of platforms, you can reduce the timeline of the project at least 4 months. So you need not to reach out every desk that you need to compile. You are compiling the documents for your bid document. Secondly, what kind of observations you kept in past, you can see those observations, you can apply same logic. Even when you are approving the design document, you can clearly see that, okay, these kind of deviations which we allowed in past, and those deviations are pretty much approved in the system. So you can correlate those references and get faster approval of drawings. Your schedule is predefined, your steps are predefined, so you will follow on that. So minimum 3 to 4 months time which you can save with this kind of platform, which will ultimately culminate in terms of customer satisfaction and your operating cost reduction. Assets, as I covered in customer part, assets design, assets engineering, everything you are covering in this. But on top of that, based on digital, you can put predictive analytics, and you can well in advance forecast the failure of the assets. And once you have that data that, okay, this asset is going to be in failure mode in next 2 months, you can take a corrective actions. So I simply say predictive analytics or digital, it will decrease your maintenance cost, but it may increase your predictive analytics cost. But if you do the total sum TCO, it will reduce your TCO. Total cost of ownership of assets will reduce, because you are investing more on finding the fault rather than you are allowing the asset to go in fault. Last but not least, we're talking about the workforce. So you can simply imagine, if everything is having in my repository or on my platform, which I can reutilize, nothing better than this. Because whatever my seniors, my predecessors have done, I'm using that with delta. I'm not saying you are using it's in toto, with some delta. So again, it keeps employee motivated that they are not frustrated, they are doing from the scratch. It's increasing the efficiency of the organization. The work which was taking a month time, now it's taking 15 days time. It's improving the efficiency and it reducing the cost. So such platforms are very important in engineering and construction kind of things. There are some key indicators how digital is saving in what areas. So I'm just going through this. I'll not go in detail. So it's a market trends and based on our in-house analysis. Revenue uplift from digital activity around 2 to 5% because organizations are doing, if I talk about like oil and gas organizations, so they are focusing on non-oil and gas business, how they can increase their retail business which is not coming from oil and gas. So it is increasing of top line. Operations optimization, which I told that you are optimizing you are increasing your efficiency 5 to 8%. Production again increases because your downtime is reducing 2 to 5% efficiency improvement. Equipment life cycle is improving because you are going in predictive analytics mode, 3 to 6% efficiency improvement, which ultimately reducing your expenditure. So your OPEX expenditure is reducing 5 to 10%. Planning efficiency, as I told you, you are using your repository. So 3 to 8% improvement your planning. 4 to 6% safety. I did not cover safety part, but visual analytics or a smart engineering concept are increasing the safety also. And resources productivity 3 to 7%. These are the trends which we observe based on secondary research which we have done. So I will take a pause here and handing over baton to my colleague Vineet Pushkar. So he will take it forward. Vineet, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vineet, for the insights, practical insights over the problem statement that has been laid down, that how going digital actually saves a lot of numbers in various aspects of the automation and business performances. So while Vineet has very aptly put down all the aspects of the trends that are being observed in the market space for the digital transformation, I am here to take you through a particular use case using the platform that Newgen offers while enabling you in your digital transformation journey. So for all of you, Newgen Software is a product company that specializes into a product suite which is called as Newgen One, which is a contextual content services platform that helps you automate your business processes and eliminate the silos of your operations throughout the content lifecycle. So Newgen One essentially is a platform which takes down throughout the life cycle of the content at your organization, right from the capture to the extend portion. So we make use of all the latest technology trends while capturing your content, giving it a data perspective, making it reusable at places, enhancing your processes, all that stuff. So the kind of capture support is with all kind of documents and data that exist into your business operations, right? Starting from the physical documents or the digital formats, analyzing them, capturing them, putting it into the respective processes or the transactions, doing all sort of intelligent extractions using the OCR and the ICR so that you can readily pick data from the documents and put it into the process and the perspective. So once the capture part gets over, the particular data set is pushed to the processes. So these processes could be any. We are taking one of the examples today with the project document and engineering drawing management life cycle, because we have observed that that is one of the pain areas that we see across this oil and gas industry. and we have a solution around it, which we'll focus upon in the subsequent slides. So the process part of the Newgen One platform actually helps you create various business workflows that do interact with all your transactional systems, your plants, helping in the maintenance of the your plants and facilities, giving them IoT-based integration, doing various other workflows around a review and approval of various engineering drawings and all that stuff. So the power of automating your processes lies inside this platform that helps develop a process automated through a low code platform, which could be like readily modified, reused, or changed as per the changing SOPs in the business. It has got various components, which includes the analytics, the robotic process automation, the BPM at its core, so that you can make use of all the digital trends and create the processes that are connected end to end with your business functions and does not give you any silos or breaks between the transactions and the processes, and you can execute them using this platform. While the processes get very well automated, we also provision a store mechanism for all your documents and data that becomes a part of that process into your organization. So we offer a cloud-based or a in-prem based repositories that readily manage your content, its access, its security, and all that stuff. It also has an underlying layer of a records management, which helps you manage your retention of the records that you hold inside your organization for compliances. And you can manage your digital records as well as physical records using these the same functionality. So while you capture, process, and store your content with this particular platform, we have observed that it is essential to extend these data set and documents to various other subsystems into your automation landscape, so that the information flow remains, or the navigation of the documents, data, or even the processes remain unified. So we have developed the standard adapters, the APIs, the web services that actually help you exchange data, documents, and definitions with various other systems like ERPs like SAP, or maybe a SharePoint, or maybe your MS Office suite, all that stuff. So this platform in totality offers you end-to-end document and content lifecycle management as a whole. And in this particular use case that we are going to discuss today, we have leveraged this platform to create a solution which is called a Newgen Engineering Drawing and Project Documentation Management System, which helps you actually unify all your content or information around the projects and engineering drawing at one place, so that you can monitor your projects, track them, and take your actionables with promptness during the life cycle of the project. So the system overview basically talks about the project definition. How do we create the definitions in integration with various third-party project tools or the transactional tools like SAP project system, or maybe Primavera, or any other project systems that you may or the project lifecycle management systems that you may use into your organization. So we help actually create those definitions or port the definitions from those transactional systems, and finally create the WBS based repository, the project work breakdown structures based repository into our system, and aligning them with the real-time transactions into those transactional systems. So that actually helps in tracking all the submittals and the transmittals that are made against any of the projects, and the project monitoring users or the agencies or the departments can in real time track the progress schedules of the projects. So it will have a project definition, it will have a centralized repository, which is a WBS based repository. It will have all the plans and progress schedules, which are real time tied to all the submittals and transmittals that are made against any of the activities or sub activities into a project. Then you have an essential part of compliance checklist executions, so which becomes like a mandatory cornerstone of every project. So you can hold on compliance checklist milestones at various levels of your project, that helps you achieve the compliances against various industry norms. So be it the sustainability related compliances, or be it the governance related compliances or security related compliances, all those checklists could be configured and executed within this system itself, which makes the project life cycle go really easy and compliant. Then you have low code based dynamic workflow creation template, so that you can create various workflows regarding any of the WBS elements and activities inside a project, and help them execute on run on runtime, and further track the progress inside each of these activities. Then you have a vendor communication piece, wherein you can do all sort of communications with the vendors, works contractors, maybe design vendors into your projects. So those communications can be handled through the system itself. Then you have procurement progress schedules, which helps you actually track your procurement progresses around various stages of the project. So you might have gone into a contract with your end users, works contractors, suppliers, wherein you may have to actually track their progress schedules in terms of materials and services. So all those schedules could be monitored with their submissions against their milestones, their requests for inspections. So all those stuff could be monitored from the system itself. And finally, the ORM and the support part. So this is a brief overview of the system. I would, in the next 10 minutes, I would just give you the glimpse of the system through the uh, design flow or the screen camps flow for this particular system. And feel free to ask any of your questions. You may post it in chat, or raise your hand to take questions over there. So the way we have defined the approval workflow, or the lifecycle workflow for this particular application, is that you can create any of the documents based on the templates, or upload documents that needs to be reviewed and approved against each of the WBS element and activities. So you can upload those engineering drawing or project documents like technical queries, comment resolutions, deviation requests, to name a few. So those could be created in the system as well as uploaded in the system against the project IDs. So you will have a project definition in place. So against those projects, you can actually upload these kind of documents, or create such documents and move it into a workflow that moves from starts with a assign stage, wherein you can assign a particular document or a drawing to the particular team who's supposed to work on that. And the post assignment, it could be sent for review to a route of users, and all the review and workflow routes could be like configured on the runtime. So you may keep a predefined route into the system, and you may define the route on the go. So once you send it for review and approval, it could be reviewed through the system. The system also provisions a web-based viewer for your AutoCAD files in case of engineering drawings. So you can have the native format opened up in the web-based browser itself, so that you can actually see those drawings, annotate them, put your comments, your review comments into the screen itself, and then the system would auto capture those comments and accumulate it into a comment resolution sheet, and that could be further sent to the rest of reviewers, approvers, or the design vendors who could make the changes into it. And then it would finally go for approval. Once approved, it could be archived into the system and issued through transmittals management. So this is a typical life cycle of this particular use case that we're talking about. Now let's go through the system. So it's just a basic system which could be configured as per your requirements in terms of changing the data, the flow, or the even the UI UX, the user interfaces and experiences that you may want to change, and it is all configurable through the system itself, because it is made on the BPM platform and does not involve much coding. So all the aspects that I show are configurable and can be tailored to your usage as and when you adopt it. So you get a user workspace wherein you actually define the projects. So the system has the capability to fetch the project details from other third-party systems like ERPs, and all the related transactional data from there itself. And then you can create the repository on the runtime wherein you define all those document types that you may want to upload against a particular project. So it could be again categorized into various kind of document sets. So the preliminary documents, it could be like the contract specs, the scope of work, the scope responsibility metrics, and for that matter any other document that might comes into play. The system gives you the provision to add any document type from the interface itself. So, and you can provide a maker checker concept over there wherein a right based user would be able to define a new document type into the parent category inside any of the projects. And once you try to upload it, uh, the green coded documents basically show that the documents are uploaded into the system, and the rest could be uploaded within the time frame. So once you upload these drawings or documents, you can actually define the accessibility rights to the users from the interface itself. So the system has been designed in a way that every feature of it is available on the go in the space, and you can have a control over your document sets while executing the project repositories. So once you have defined the project work desk, you get the option to actually charter down to the entire project WBS. So once this project is created, you'll be able to see all the project WBS items that needs to be executed inside the project lifecycle, and you also have the project details mentioned over here. So all these fields are configurable and could be tailor-made to your set of uh, definitions that you may want to put up into the system. So once you define this project, you can get into various stages. So one of them is executing a compliance checklist. So you can define the compliance checklist at the initiation of the project through input checklist, or you can define as many checklists you may want to and execute them at various stages of the project. So once you define those checklists over here, you can execute them, you can assign them digitally and archive it within the project repository, so that whatever future compliance checks are to be made and audits to be made for a particular project, you can readily refer to those compliance certificates or the execution checklist that you have generated for a particular project. Similarly, you can have, so this is kind of a compliance checklist template that gets generated over here. So going to the design development plan, so that is the next thing. So you can create your design development plans over here in the system. So this is all configurable. You can create your own templates over here, and the plans could be created. They could be populated with the realistic figures, and the plan could be published and actually referred to with time. So once your design development plan is in place, you can also create progress schedules. So these progress schedules basically are those uh, section wise or the WBS wise drawing or document numbers that gets uploaded against the life cycle of these particular executions. So you can get these uploaded. Maybe this could be imported from your project systems that are there in place, and then the upload and track can happen over here. The system also gives you the provision to create this plan within the system itself, or import CSVs or Excel based plans and then track them from this system. So once you upload these particular drawings through the plan, you'll be able to check the entire revision history, which gets auto accumulated and populated as and when your workflow progresses inside the project lifecycle. So once you do that, you can simply click on the drawing number or the document number, which will open the work item into a web-based viewer like this, where you'll have different sections. So this would be your drawing or document into the web-based viewer where you can actually see this drawing with various layers, try to annotate it. So you can red line, mask, highlight, everything can be done within the viewer itself, and you can execute the document level checklist. You can then decide upon the uh, users who would be the reviewers, who would be approvers for this particular work item. And once you assign the reviewers and the approvers for this work item, this drawing could be moved to the next level user for the review and approval. And every action done on this particular work item is recorded in the decision history for this work item. One of the important aspects and unique feature in this particular platform is while you write any of the comments inside these drawings as annotations, those comments could be auto-accumulated into a Excel sheet there and then, so that whenever you try to export these drawings or documents to any third-party vendors or contractors, so these comments could be like exported through transmittals for their actions and revisions, and the responses against each of these could be tracked back into the system itself. So this is how it moves from the reviewer to the approver queue. Once it moves to the approver queue and it is approved, it could be pushed to the issuance queue, which looks like this. So against each of the project or the WBS, you'll have the set of drawings and documents that you may want to transmit through the transmittals. So it would move to a issuance stage wherein the issuer can actually start with the transmittal generation, and the transmittal gets automatically generated based on the template. So you select all the work items or the drawings or documents that you may want to send to the transmittals, and from there you can select whom do you want to send it to, the class, the client, or the works contractor, or the consultants. So you can decide the type of transmittal you want to make and simply upload those documents, and the transmittal gets generated based on the template that is pre-configured in the system. And this transmittal can be sent through mail, can be pushed to a portal, or even can be printed if required. So we give all the input output support that is required to interact with the system. So once done that, that was one of the use cases for the engineering drawing review. Similarly, you can create workflows for technical queries, comment resolutions, division requests, change memos, lesson learned, vendor certificates, site instructions, or any other work item that you may want to create. So this is all template based. The templates could be configured, and you can make use of the system to track your actionables, track your different W-based linked work items from this application itself. So one of the use cases we have shown is a technical query. So if you come across any of the technical queries into the project, you can have a template loaded. Through the template, you can generate a technical query like this, and this technical query could be sent to the respective parties that are supposed to answer back on the technical queries through the system itself. And the entire life cycle or the flow or the navigation of these technical queries are managed through the system only. So you will have the initiator of the technical query, you will have the reviewer of the technical query, or the parties that are supposed to answer back on those queries. So all is done through the system so that it is within the system, and the flow of data is all controlled and can be tracked easily. So that is the beauty of the system that I wanted to highlight. So with we have given you a quick glimpse of the system for one of the use cases. The platform could be used to automate uh, n number of use cases and functions inside your organization, and we are open to questions now. So over to you, Mukul.
Thank you, Vinit Mishra. Thank you, Vineet Pushkar. The presentation and the content were really insightful. I hope our attendees really had something to take back from our webinar today. I request everyone to start posting your questions in the questions box, which I can ask our panelists. I am receiving some questions here. First question is for Vinit Mishra. In cost cutting edge how companies can leverage digital.
Yeah, hi Mukul. So very pertinent question. So I think probably in last 50 minutes, Pushkar and me both were trying to answer this particular point, that how companies can leverage the digital. So as I highlighted, three basic pillars: asset, customer, and workforce. So in all the segments, you can utilize digital. So as I told, robotics, process automation, the upcoming technology, so through which processes are being automated. So you are increasing. So I'm just putting one example. So I'm from consulting firm, and which predominantly known for Big Four in audit side. So initially, what was the audit process? So audit process was you are doing sample audit of 10% receipts or payment vouchers. Okay. While nowadays audit process is totally automated. We have platform. Okay. So everything is being, it's no manual checking of the vouchers, etc. So there's a platform and everything is being done through technology. So technology beauty is that it's 24 into 7. There's no 8-hour shift, and it has least chances of any kind of manual intervention or manual malfunction. So you are increasing efficiency, you are bringing transparency, you are bringing accuracy in your evaluation, and ultimately it is reducing the cost and improving your EBITDA. Okay, this is from asset side. If I talk about what Vineet Pushkar highlighted, so Vineet Pushkar highlighted that you can leverage rather than doing the things in silos. There's a platform which clearly navigating you how you need to go, and you need not to do the things in a manual way around. If you need to change, if you need to create any design modification, you please take your reference design document and do any kind of annotation in that document. It is saving your time, and most important part, that you are creating a repository for your future. It is in your database. So I would say digital, as I told my first line, stop doing digital, being digital. So digital is giving advantage, competitive advantage, price advantage, transparency, and sacrosancy in all the sense. I hope I could answer.
Thank you, Vineet.
So, Mukul, before you proceed with the other questions, I see one more question from Mr. Swami on the comment
Mhm.
side. So, Mr. Swami, to answer your question, this was a limited time webinar. We'll get connected to you for the detailed explanation on how the lesson learned and the risk part of the projects are covered through the system. We'll share the communications with you, wherein we'll have a detailed presentation with you on that. I hope I answer your question. Yeah, over to you, Mukul.
All right. Next question to Vineet Pushkar for you. How long is our typical implementation for such a solution?
So that primarily, Mukul, depends upon the kind of organization we are getting into. The automation landscape decides that. But with our experience that we have seen, typically uh, 3 months to 9 months, 12 months is the timeline, depending upon the complexity of the projects that we get into and the size of the organizations we get into. Because today we are doing these kind of projects with uh, organizations who have a global footprint with geographically diversified offices. So automating that landscape will definitely take some time, because a lot of change management comes into play, a lot of uh, aggregation of the system designs with the help of teams like EY and all that stuff happen. So it totally depends on the kind of landscape we are getting into. But geographically, like concentrated implementation with limited set of users and limited set of functions can go live in 3 months. A complex one would take 9-10 months also. So that is how it works.
Thank you, Pushkar. Vineet Mishra, next question is for you. I really like this question. Uh, for energy and utilities organization or power and utilities organizations, what is the biggest challenge to achieve when they look for achieving these digital goals?
Yeah. So I would say there are n number of challenges when we enter some unknown territory or some technology which we have not worked with in past. But based on the biggest transformation which I have seen in my life, I can say one thing: change management is the most important element in any transformation. Any transformation. So, as Vineet Pushkar has represented, that this is the tool which will save your time, efforts, money, everything. But if organization employees are not pro to change themselves in line with this tool, so your all efforts would go in vain. So change management is the most important aspect. And regarding change management, I would like to highlight change management drive comes from top. I've seen n number of cases where program could not be successful in spite of the best product is there, best support team is there, best implementation. So if Newgen is implementing this product, so you can understand you are in the right hands, right product, but your employees are not supporting in that case. So that's the biggest, I think, challenge. The mindset to accept the change. So that's the most important element, I would say, apart from other technical nuances.
Thank you. I hope our attendees have something to gain out of how to achieve these challenges. I again request, please keep typing your questions, queries, if you have. Our panelists would love to answer them. Vineet Pushkar, this is the next question for you. Can one implementation serve various departments with different needs?
Yeah, so primarily this is a platform that we are talking about. Okay, so this is an automation platform which is an enterprise-wide platform. So this does not limit to any of the functions or the particular verticals. This is vertical agnostic. So we have just touched on upon a use case over here. The platform is vertical agnostic and could serve to any of the functions, be it if we talk specifically about oil and gas, we have done it with retail, lube, refineries, the well services, and then obviously the shared services landscape is totally covered, be it HR, be it marketing, be it the finance. So all that gets covered through this particular platform. The platform is all about uh, content centric workflow automation and giving you the data insights with the help of all the technology trends, doing away with the redundant work steps into a process with the RPA inclusion. So a modern platform that serves to digitize your process experience end to end. So this platform totally serves the end-to-end digital needs of a particular organization. And as I had already mentioned, this readily integrates with the other subsystems and transactional systems in place to create a connected enterprise experience for any of the organization. I hope I've answered this.
Thanks, Pushkar. There is a follow-up question on this. Can we
Yeah.
implement digitization in the existing manufacturer company, or should we just apply it to the new systems?
See, this is a little complex question because it is a subjective one. So while digitization can definitely be applied using the platform, there would be two parts to it. Digitizing the historical content into your place and then moving to the digital platform as a workplace. Definitely a large percentage of all your historical documents and information that you have can be used into the digital platform that you start using today. However, there would be certain limitations with the data and document set that needs to be treated as a digitized document and continuing your digital operation today onwards. So this is something which is subjective to the use case. We will love to help you with a detailed session around it if you give us the problem statement. But yes, digitization is the way to go ahead, and all your operations as well as data documents can be digitized and put to use.
Thank you. Since we don't have any more questions, just
No, there is a question I see.
okay. Yes, just now there is a question came in. Uh, E&R industries have low connectivity or no connectivity zones. Which technology would you support for such scenarios? How can we
Yeah.
digitize such problems?
Yeah, so we have provisions for that. Like Vineet Mishra was talking about remote asset tracking and all that stuff. So we actually operate into this industry, especially oil and gas and energy utilities. See a lot of these organizations which are into those geographies wherein there is a challenge with the connectivities. So what we have done is we have created the remote servers, which actually try to work in offline mode, obviously with some limitations. However, whenever you get the connectivity back, so the experience remains the same. So we have remote servers in place, which are like sizable and are low on cost. They could be put to place wherein you can work into the offline mode and get the data synced in real time whenever you have connectivity in place. So we have that combination of offline online working into the technology because of the industries we operated. There are a lot of use cases that we have done uh, on similar lines, which includes remote asset tracking, remote inspection of the project sites, plus supporting various refineries and well services in the oil and gas sector. So there are a lot of them. We can discuss your use case in detail uh, post this webinar.
Thank you. All right. So I thank you all for being part of this webinar. Thank you, Vinit Mishra. Thank you, Vineet Pushkar. I hope I personally enjoyed our discussion. I hope our attendees did too. Uh, we will be sharing the recording of this webinar with everyone. If you still have more questions, if you still want to connect with our experts, do let us know, or our account managers will anyways get in touch with you all. Thank you for your time today. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thanks everyone.